Just finished up with the warm-up today. It's a beautiful day. A little bit about the Elastic series real quick. Basically, elastic strength is free energy. Doing these movements in a cyclical pattern really trains the tendons and ligaments in the body to be more springy, rather than just doing like single, double, triple repetition jumps where a lot of the force is being produced by the muscle. When you're doing these elastic series, you're a little bit more stiff in the movements. You're allowing the tendons and ligaments to kind of take over with a little bit more of that force, that explosive energy that people like to train for. This is one of the best ways to do it because, like I said, elastic energy is free. Sorry for squinting. I have the sun directly in my face, and I know the audio on this probably sucks because I'm using a GoPro. So we're gonna knock out this elastic strength series real quick. All right, that's the first 6 movements of the elastic series. I'm gonna talk about those real quick. They start off relatively low intensity with the pogos. The pogos themselves are meant to be stiff. You should feel like you're just kind of bouncing off the ground. You shouldn't have to be putting a lot of knee flexion into it to get yourself off. They are called pogos for a reason, because you want to kind of be like it's a pogo stick. So that's the first. Backwards pogos, forward pogos, same concept. Going into the skips, so I first do a set of skips for height. So I'm more focused on vertical force, and then I follow that up with a set of skips for distance, so focused on producing horizontal force. Follow that up with bounding, straight leg bounds. Straight leg bounds is about popping off the ground and covering distance with each bound. And then you follow that up with bent leg bounds. Same concept, except for you're using a little bit more drive in the hip than you are with the straight leg bounce. So that bent knee allows you to create a little bit higher force when you're going into it. go, I wanted to talk about the other movements in that elastic series. We start with the hopping taps, or the hopping knee drives, pogo knee drives, whatever you want to call them. It's kind of expanding on the pogos. So we're doing the same kind of concept of being stiff on the ground, allowing that energy to bounce us back up. But as we come back up, we're doing a single leg knee drive. So you're focusing on your right leg hitting the ground, driving back up. Same thing as if you were sprinting. When your foot hits the ground, you need to think about picking that foot back up off the ground quick. So we do a set of those with single leg. So you do a set right leg, and then you're going to do a set left leg. They're tricky. They require a lot of coordination. The first few times I did it, I felt like an idiot. I probably looked like an idiot as well. But as you get used to it, then it gets a little bit easier and easier. After that, you follow it up with alternating. So then every time you hit the ground, you're driving up with the opposite leg. So you hit the ground, drive up right knee, hit the ground, drive up left knee, alternating back and forth. From there, we go into an acceleration bound, really focusing on trying to maintain that forward lean and pushing back and down behind us. So it's not like an alternating leg bound, which we do after. The acceleration bound is about keeping that torso forward and driving those feet into the ground down behind you and gaining as much ground as you can while staying in the air. After that, we go into alternating leg bounds. From the alternating leg, we are focusing more on a vertical force. So the acceleration bounds, you're focusing on trying to cover ground as fast as possible. The alternating leg bounds, you're more of an upright position, and it's more of a bounce and vertical force off the ground. So you're not covering as much distance with every jump. From that progression, we go into left, left, right, right. It's basically building up into a single leg progression. So we go left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Same concept as the alternating leg, except for we're doing 2 jumps on one leg before we switch to the other. And then finally, we do single leg bounce, which is the most intense of all the movements. So it's just maintaining that upright position, allowing one leg to do the work, being stiff when you can contact the ground, bouncing off the ground as fast as possible. On all these movements, in any of the bounds, you want to focus on getting off the ground as fast as possible. It's not about trying to cover as much ground or jump as high as you possibly can. So doing these, starting off slow, when I first started doing them, even with like the pogos, I was barely coming off the ground. I was just focusing on getting off the ground quick. I'm not trying to be on the ground for a long time. And then eventually later on, as the months go on, I'll be trying to expand on that and make them a little bit more intense and actually try to cover more ground and get more height. But right now I'm just focused on getting on and off the ground quick, making sure I'm in the right positions doing these, focusing on them more as drills than they are as an actual workout itself. And I feel like it's progressing well for me. So that's the AM session. I'm gonna go home, eat, go to the gym, do some work, and then we're gonna hit up the PM session in the weight room. All right, what's up? Here for the PM session. Mainly just an accessory strength type day on Tuesdays, so mostly upper body stuff. We've got mixed grip pull-ups. I'm gonna be using 10 to 15 kilos on a weight belt with those today. We have the snatch grip back raises. So I'll be using, I think, about 50 kilos on that, a little heavier than it was previous week. Follow that up with some shoulder work, and then we have some arms, and then we have abs. So pretty straightforward session overall. Not a whole lot to talk about, not a lot to explain, so I'm just gonna knock it out. Okay, that's the PM session. We're done. But again, appreciate the support. More and more subscribers, more and more people commenting, more viewers coming in. I appreciate that. Again, we have the YouTube challenge going on, trying to give away the Functional Beast 1.0. If we hit 10,000, anything can happen. I know we're halfway through the month and we're not even close to that, but hey, why not set big goals and try to hit them, right? So other than that, we're done for the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.